What is going on? This is Cody, and you are tuned into B-Boy 45, broadcasting from the Seacrest Studios here at Children's Hospital, Colorado. And we have a very special treat. Some might even say it's double the treat today on Maya's latest news to keep you in the groove. Maya, who's on the line with us today?
Peri Gilpin and Siobhan Fallon Hogan.
Woo! Welcome, ladies!
Thanks for having us, Maya.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Peri told me you were so great and so beautiful, and you're even more beautiful in almost person in Zoom that I saw in the pictures Peri sent. It's true.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Maya, take it away, girl. It's your show.
Okay. So, first of all, Peri, it's so nice to see you again. I'm so excited to be talking to you again, and thank you so much for calling back in.
Of course, Maya and I met. We met online a couple of years ago, and then she came to Los Angeles a few months ago, and I got to go have lunch with her and her mom and her twin sister. Siobhan, was that your phone?
That was my alarm to tell me I had Maya's show, but I guess I was a little late. I just stole Peri's beautiful story. Okay, continue. So sorry.
No, we had fun. We had a great time. And I think Maya's a great interviewer. And she really, really loves, I'm just going to use the word everyone uses now, the C word, content, because she watches so much and she absorbs so much of it. And she has the greatest questions about it. And I knew she was going to be excited about Rushed. Because Rushed is the kind of movie that I think appeals to everyone across the board.
Oh, that's so nice. And Maya, you have no idea how much I appreciate you getting the word out there for us.
Yeah, I actually have a couple of questions about Rushed. So, but first of all, this is about Rushed. I know that you wrote it, and you and Peri both star in it.
No, I don't star in it. Siobhan stars in it.
She's a star, and she's fabulous in it, like beyond.
I had so much fun doing it, but it was so fun to watch Siobhan because we worked together about many, many years ago. I'm not even going to say, in a play. We had such a great time. And then she went back to the East Coast. I stayed on the West Coast, and we didn't really see each other for many years. And then she asked me to come out and do this. And I got to watch her work on a very dramatic character, but she still brought all her fun, all her spark to it. And it was just fascinating to get to see her put this thing together and to be a part of it and to do a scene with her, and watch her bring Barbara to life. It was very cool. She wrote the script too.
So Maya, when I wrote the script, Rushed, there was a part of a senator's wife, and she had to be elegant and she had to be dramatic and deep. And it's a very touching part. And so Peri Gilpin, who I had worked with in a comedy, and there's very few people that can cross from comedy into dramatic work. It's hard to do. And Peri came to the East Coast, and I guess in baseball, they say knocked it out of the ballpark. And, her scene is so touching and poignant. It's unbelievable. And I'm so happy that we've stayed friends all these years. And, Maya, when you're an actress, sometimes you can have a bit of an ego. Peri has all the reason in the world to have said to me, Siobhan, seriously, I have been in major television shows and movies. I don't need to do your little movie. But she came out, and she and Robert Patrick, who played, from the Terminator, he played my husband, and Jake Weary. All these people I'd worked with came out east. Oh my God, I don't know why that keeps happening. I don't know how to work technology. And so now my phone keeps going off. That was my alarm to say Maya's show, but I don't know why it keeps going. So anyway, so what I was going to tell you is that I have problems. And also, okay, I think that stopped. Okay, so I was going to tell you that they all came, and so in the trailer of the movie Rushed, Peri's part is so fabulous that who's the first person when they made the trailer, they said, who we've got to have in the trailer because she is so beautifully moving in the scene that there she is shining, and just in the little trailer itself. Well, wait till you see her in the movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I was wondering what inspired you to write this movie.
Well, I have 3 kids. I have 2 daughters and a son. And my father used to say, I like kids, just not from 15 to 25. So I think many parents lay in bed at night just worried sick when their kids go out on the town, as we say. So you worry and you worry. And then there's this odd thing now that we have called cell phones. And so this mother is what they call a helicopter mother. Now, Maya, I have 3 kids. I'm not exactly a helicopter mother, but I did find someone that I knew that acted like this, who lived very close to me, inside of me. And so as I wrote it, then the son goes off to college and she drives the other 3 kids crazy, saying when they get in the minivan in the morning, call your brother, call your brother, call your brother, harassing him in college. So it came from a lot of personal material. The first part of the movie is very funny. And I think it's extra sad when bad things happen to really funny people, because funny people aren't meant to be upset and crying and have bad things. They don't think that. You don't think, oh, that can't happen to me because I'm like a clown or I'm funny. So this movie, when it takes a turn in the middle of it and the mother experiences this complete life change because her family is turned upside down, then you watch this funny family stick together like glue. And that's when the mother takes things into her own hands and travels cross country and meets other mothers like Peri's character, the senator's wife. Pardon me, not the senator's wife, one of the fancy friends of the senator.
Even more.
Sorry, what?
I said even more important because she's part of the money that the senator, gets his senatorial job from the people with the money. So I said it's even an even more important character.
Yes. Yes.
So, Peri, I was wondering what drew you to this project.
Well, our friendship, I got an SOS DM Instagram. And I was like, what? I would do anything for Siobhan. But what I got to do for Siobhan was unbelievable. You say yes, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I said yes. Because I love the script and I really love what Siobhan was just talking about. I love that this family was so close, that they handled everything with such exuberance and humor, and they were really in it together. And then the idea, the idea of how close they stick when this tragedy occurs, and they support each in dealing with it the way they need to deal with it, And Barbara's character, Siobhan's character, Barbara O'Brien, I think is how we all as moms see ourselves. She just acts it out. She just shows us how to do it. She uses her brain. She doesn't take no for an answer. And she goes and makes it not okay, but she deals with it because no one else will. And I think that's so her son can rest in peace. And I really, really loved the project. I still do. I'm so proud of it. And that's why I wanted to do it. I was so thrilled.
So great. Thank you, Peri. But I think too, Maya, something that's interesting is that this is a mom who is doing something that I admire so much, which is staying home and raising her kids. She's trying to teach them about the faith. Now, she swears a lot, so she's not the most exemplary person, but she's making sandwiches in the morning, trying to get her kids off to school. She never really wanted something to be in the limelight or to do something which was looked at as extraordinary. She wanted to, just live a simple life. And I think that it's so interesting that your recording benefits the Children's Hospital, because I think many moms, I'm sure you get pushed into this position that you never imagined in your life. And moms are so important when your kids have trouble. And it's so important to be strong and a role model, even though you never wanted to really be in that position.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Siobhan, I was wondering, when did you first know you wanted to be an actress?
That's a good question, Maya. I was in third grade and there was an audition for the play called The Proud Train. And I wanted to be the conductor, but they wouldn't let me because no girls were allowed to be conductors. So I was then cast in the very important role of the last wheel of the caboose. And I got my first bad review because the sixth graders wrote to our class and said, "Why was the last wheel spinning so much faster than the other wheels?" But I didn't care. I loved being on stage. I just always loved it. Actually, in first grade, there was an assembly. I didn't know it was assembly. I thought the principal was asking a rhetorical question. And she said, "Does anybody know how to do the Irish jig?" So I raised my hand and said I did. But they had a whole assembly that was all these Irish dancers were coming out. And so I went up and I really didn't even know how to do the Irish jig. I just knew how to fake it from like the Lucky Charms commercial. So anyway, I always loved being on stage and entertaining. And my family was very funny and it was always storytelling and that kind of thing. We're always really encouraged.
Oh, cool. So you've been in many different things and you usually do comedy. What was the biggest challenge in scripting a thriller?
Well, that's another great question because when Peri and I met, it was for a comedy that Peri produced and starred in, and thank God she cast me in because otherwise we never would have been friends and she never could have been in Rush. So it's funny how life happens. So I got a really good piece of advice from my friend PJ, who I've known forever, who Peri knows too. He has red hair just like me. We were roommates together in LA 5,055 years ago. And so he's a writer and he's also a producer on the movie. And he said to me, "Siobhan," I said, "I want to write a movie." He said, "Don't judge it. Just start writing. Don't think of the end. Just write whatever comes out and then worry about it later." So that's what happened. And I was lucky because early on in my career, Avi Kaufman, who's a casting director, she cast this movie. She took a chance on me in a serious part. And it was through this fabulous director, writer, Lars von Trier in Denmark. And so I've been in 3 of his movies. And when I wrote the script, I sent it to him and his company to see what they thought of it. And so, because I played a serious part in a movie of his that Avi Kaufman took I was a prison guard. It was serious. And because of being cast in that movie, years ago, I broke out of the mold of just serious. Remember? Why so serious? What's that movie from? Batman or something? What's that from? No, that's like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. What's that from? Anyway, so long and short of it is Lars von Trier said he would produce it. So I was like, oh my gosh, I guess maybe this is good. So I had the confidence because of people that took chances on me. And like Peri took a chance on me a long time ago in the play when she cast me. So I think it's all about taking chances on people and sticking together once you know person's a good person and bringing everybody back on the same board.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So what is each of your favorite thrillers?
I'm not a thriller movie kind of person. That's the other thing about this that's so interesting. That's why I love this so much. I don't need a thriller in my life.
Okay, I can't remember anything, and this is really weird. I don't watch that much TV or movies, and so I never have good references. So when people ask me that, I'm like, what was? Oh, I know, Speed with Sandra Bullock on the bus. Remember?
Good. But that's too. Is
that a thriller?
Yeah,
I don't even know genres.
And you know, Knives Out. Knives Out was really good.
I love that. I love that movie.
Okay, so there are.
This is not a thriller, but you know what I just watched that's so good? Dream Horse with Toni Collette. And I went to the movies. There was only 3 people in the movies. Myself, my other friend Siobhan, which made it less confusing, and my other friend. We jumped up and cheered when the horse started running the race. Anyway, but I digress. That's not a thriller.
Yeah, that's my family and I have been wanting to see it. We haven't seen that yet, but
it's good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. My sister.
What's favorite? What's your favorite thriller?
Yes.
There are actually, I hate horror movies, but I actually love thrillers. And there are a lot that I really like. There's one called Rapid Eye Movement. That one is really good. It's one of my favorites.
Interesting.
Part of this has kind of taught me about thriller versus horror movie. I didn't realize that they were two separate genres.
I can't handle horror movies at all.
Yeah.
I can't, because I have bad dreams.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. My sister and I always argue about she always says there's not really a difference between thrillers and horror movies, and I tell her yes there is, because thrillers don't go as far as horror movies do. So yeah, we watched a new Netflix movie a couple weeks ago that was, I read when I first read about it, it said it was a thriller, and so I was so excited to watch it, and we watched it, and it ended up being a horror movie, and so then my mom watched it. We had a friend over, and my mom watched it with us, and so then that night I didn't sleep, and my mom didn't sleep either. So
I remember in third grade, it was all the rage that the Birds, Alfred Hitchcock, was going to be on TV, and I could not sleep. And I went into my parents, they had 5 kids, and I was like, I can't sleep. Can I sleep with you? And I remember all night long being smushed by my big fat father and my mother saying, Siobhan, stop moving, stop moving.
Yeah, my mom and I were, after we watched this movie, neither of us slept that night. And so, she usually doesn't get super creeped out by movies, but this one took a turn that was very creepy, and so then she didn't sleep at all, and I didn't either, because my sister and our friend stayed downstairs for a while when my mom and I went up, and then it was late at night, and my mom kept hearing them, and in her head she knew it was my sister and our friend, but because it was late at night, she didn't rationalize it.
Right.
And then I kept thinking I was seeing things, which I knew I wasn't, but still could not fall asleep. I kept having to go check behind my bed to make sure there was nothing there. And so
sometimes, Maya, I'm like you get so tired that you're like, I don't know if I'm having a dream or if this is happening. You know what I mean? I'm like, I shouldn't have watched that. Or sometimes if I eat too much chocolate, the same thing happens. Or maybe, Maya, just maybe I'm crazy.
The movie, all throughout it, my mom kept saying, do you want to stop this? Is this going to freak you out? I was like, no, I want to see what, I want to finish it. I'm invested in this now. But all throughout the movie, my mom and I were, rationalizing everything in our minds. And then at the end, the turn it took, we were like, we can't rationalize this. So then my mom's bed is open at the bottom. So, and there was this one scene where there was someone under the bed. And so my mom kept having to get up in the middle of the night and check under her bed. So
I can totally relate to that.
This movie isn't like that, and I know you know that, but Rushed is more. It tells a story that it needs to tell, and it's pretty blatant, but it's not gory.
Right.
It tells you it's honest, and then you go with the mom to figure out how she's going to handle it, and it's more cerebral than and emotional rather than crazy. She doesn't go crazy. She goes to the brink of craziness, but you understand why.
Yeah.
Because a mom will do anything, at least I would, for their child if someone has treated them so poorly and harmed them. That sends you to a new place where you have to, if the law won't help you, you have to go above the law or below the law.
So I just have a few more questions for you both. What song inspires you to get up and have a dance party?
Peri?
Well, one is Blame It on the Boogie, and the other one is Forget Me Not. Sorry. From your movie. I love it. Never fails. Is that corny? I'm sorry.
No, I love that. I just off the top of my head would say, I want to rock and roll all night and party every day.
Do you guys have a ritual you do to help get into character before filming a scene?
Oh my God. I have endless. I'm like OCD about this. I have so many things I need to do. It's very weird. Do you, Siobhan?
Well, I always pray my face off because I'm always like, God, help me through this. And I try to calm down because, I'm a little bit too, I'm a little hyped up. I don't drink coffee or anything. So I try to breathe and walk like the character would instead of my own breathing, because my own breathing is probably a lot more rapid. So I try to think of how that character would breathe and slow myself down a little bit.
Cool. So what show are you currently binge watching?
Peri?
I just finished Hacks, and it was fantastic. And we've been watching 100 Foot Wave, my family, and we're all addicted to it. It's so good.
Okay, and I have been watching The Dairy Girls, which I love so much, and I was so sad because I'm waiting for the third season, and they're supposed to put it out, and I thought it was the funniest thing. Have you seen it yet, Maya?
I haven't. My mom and my sister watched it, and they really liked it.
I love it.
Dairy Girls on the British Bake Off. Did you see that? There was a holiday British Bake Off with them as the contestants.
No.
Hilarious.
They're so funny.
They
so
are
funny.
Yeah. My mom and I are currently watching Teen Wolf.
Oh.
We watched it we were watching it with my sister too, and then she went to college, and so then she was like, okay, she was like, fine, you don't have to wait for me to watch this. So that's what my mom told me I was very bad for her productivity because she didn't do anything over the weekend. All we did was watch Teen Wolf, it was the best thing ever. So
that's great.
But what about Outer Banks? You watched Outer Banks, didn't you, Maya? Did you?
Yeah, we did.
That was great.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I told, since it came out a couple weeks before Leia went to college, I was like, you can't do anything until we watch this new season. So yeah, we watched it all I think in less than a week.
Maya, I think Rushed is a great. Rushed and Outer Banks are very much alike in some ways.
Oh, cool.
I haven't seen Outer Banks. I got to watch that. You can watch Rushed if it's not in your town, in a theater in your town or city. You can watch it on demand on Amazon. You can actually pre-order it on Apple, or watch it on Apple or iTunes or all those video platforms. I have no idea how to do that, Maya, but apparently that's what a lot of college kids and your kids your age do.
Yeah. On Friday.
This Friday, the 27th, it's going to be in theaters and on demand the same day. Should I just point the camera so you can see what the rest of my kitchen looks?
Yes.
Well, it's kind of a disaster. And it's like a scene and a half. And look, I have this carved St. Anthony next to me for good luck. But because, my husband printing posters and putting them up all over town. And we've got this big premiere happening. Oh, I love it. we have these little good luck things that help us on podcasts and interviews like yours, Maya. Right, Peri?
Yes. Yes, we do. We must.
Yeah. So I was wondering, my last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero and why?
Go ahead, Peri.
No, I have a few of those in my life and people that I don't know. Well, I think Siobhan is a superhero because she wrote a great movie. She starred in it. She did a great job acting in it. Great. And her movie tells a story that I think is so important and so beautiful. And I don't know if it's ever really been told. It certainly hasn't been told this way. And so I would say Siobhan Fallon Hogan is my superhero.
Okay. And I have two superheroes.
You don't have to say me. Don't say me.
I'm not saying you. Peri's nickname when she was little, she doesn't know that I knew this. I heard on a radio interview was Little Squirrel. So I won't say Peri out loud, but Little Squirrel Peri is one of my superheroes, because you know what? When you reach the point in your career that Peri did, and you're still a loyal friend, and you don't think you're somebody because everybody knows you, and you're still real, and you will do a film like Rushed and do a job that is unbelievable and act on the set the same way you act on Frasier that everybody all over the world knows, and give a performance that she gave, that's a superhero. And my next superhero is my new friend, Maya, because I think it's amazing what you do at your age is unbelievable. And you're a great interviewer. And I think it takes incredible guts to do what you're doing. I mean, at your age, I think I was like trying to decide what kind of bubble gum to get for the day and what boy didn't like me. But I think that you're fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
And I mean that.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I also think your mother's my new superhero, because I like that she hangs out with you and is not productive, because I'm not very productive either.
Yeah, I whenever she tells me that, I always just look at her and I'm like, you're welcome. Because I never know how to respond. So I'm just like, you're welcome.
That's great.
So thank you guys so much for calling in. I had
Anytime.
so much fun talking to you.
And Maya, if you can tell all your fans, so it's this Friday, August 27th, and they can follow it on Instagram at Rushed Movie or on Facebook at Rushed Movie. And if you can't find it in your city or town, it's in several theaters all over Florida, South Dakota, everywhere. But some towns it's not in. So if it's not, then you download it on demand on those platforms, Apple, iTunes, Amazon. And yes. And Maya, thanks a million.
There's also Rushed Movie has an Instagram page.
Yes,
with all the songs.
at Rushed Movie.
Okay.
Excellent. Now, let me just ask one question real quick. Rushed Movie, especially good for teenagers and young adults, right?
Everyone.
Oh,
Yes.
even younger than
No, not
teenagers?
young, not young. I would say it's a little too scary when it's not scary, but it's too emotional.
Okay.
So I would say maybe 14 and up.
Okay, so
When you say Peri?
Yeah.
teenagers
Yeah.
and young adults, which we have a ton of here at the hospital. So you guys have gotten the inside track on the movie upstairs. So that has been such a treat for us. So thank you.
And also, I want to say, let them watch the trailer first, because it depends on what kind of 14-year-old. I might even up that to 16. I don't want anybody to be like, "Oh, that scared me." You know what I mean? Because it's emotional what happens in the movie. So if you're the type of kid that's a little less mature, not less mature, more sensitive, then you might want to wait till they're 16. So you maybe you could watch it first and say, Siobhan is an idiot, and it wasn't for 14-year-olds. It was really for 18 years old. And when I see her, I'm gonna punch her in the nose.
Well, there will be no punching in the nose. Your face is put together well. You ladies have made us laugh, and we look forward to Rushed for those of us who are teenagers, young adults, and we have just enjoyed spending so much time with you. So thank you so
Awesome.
very much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks a million.
Thank you.
God bless. God bless.
Bye.
Say hi to your mother.
I will.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.